method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades. While the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux, to this day the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes way before it gets too late. Now run, man, there's no way you can. Hit the streetlights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never cared for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to another edition of This Week in Pro Wrestling with your host, Mike Monte and Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, another week in pro wrestling?
Yeah. I was watching all sorts of stuff this week, too.
I know, you were telling me. You got totally engaged.
Yeah,
in,
I started
professional wrestling.
Started watching NWA Power, and then I realized, what the fuck am I doing?
Did you do that because Chris Masters told you to?
I actually did it because I did want to check out Chris Masters after he basically broke my neck, you know. But he wasn't on the show that I was watching. I was like, where the fuck is he? Oh, that's right. He was breaking my neck. That's why he wasn't on the show.
He opted to give you the Master Lock Challenge instead of wrestling on
Chris.
NWA. But you like Roddy Piper and They Live, right? You know,
What?
Obey.
Obey?
Chris Masters. Watch NWA. Obey.
Obey. Wow, you make me sound like Marky Mark.
No, just like must watch. So what did you watch this week?
Well, I watched a little bit of that. I tried to watch Impact Wrestling, but I couldn't do it.
People are starting to review Impact as like it's getting better. You just weren't into it, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't really into it. You know what? The access to them is not so great either for me.
Well, where do you get them on Fight?
I tried to watch some stuff on YouTube, but they were like Aces and Eights. I'm like Aces and Eights. I'm like what? And that's the video they put up this week.
You're right.
You know, I was like, okay, I remember this, but this is not what I want to see.
So did you get a chance to catch MLW Underground debut on Reels this week?
I did not. Did you? I missed Hammerstone. I love Hammerstone.
Caught
there
a bit.
He is right there.
There is Hammerstone. Hammerstone's got the look.
Dude, Hammerstone's great. I've been telling you about Hammerstone for quite a while now.
They drew about 79,000 views, which isn't
not
bad.
so bad.
That's not bad.
It's not.
Don't know if they can maintain that.
Yeah, you know how this goes.
You know, dude, it's like, to me, again, they have the Von Erichs, right? They have Enzo, who was in studio, him and Microman.
Okay. Microman.
To me, why, like, they should have another faction like the Freebirds and do, like, I told you, I wanted the WWE to get the Von Erichs and kind of start a new feud and bring in some Freebirds. Like, I don't give a shit if they're related to Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Michael PSAs.
You know what I'm finding funny? When I watch these old school field programs, sure, they feel like they're old school.
Right.
Why do they not capture my imagination the way they did back in the day? It's not. It's nice to see, but I'm not going, oh my God, this feels exactly like it. You know,
right.
It's not.
Well, I got to tell you,
some are trying. I'll give them that.
Think about this.
You know,
remember when 605 when that music used to come
Oh
on.
my God.
With those really awful graphics of like the earth and guys
like
wrestling.
at the time we thought they
Oh, it
were
was so
awful.
odd, but I'm just saying when you look at it now. But I gotta tell you, exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That was great.
And something special about 6:05.
Right. What's with the extra 5 minutes? Why does that seem so special?
I remember as growing up, you waited those
Oh, you
waiting
bet.
for the extra 5 minutes.
That channel, Obey, they had us trained to 05 time,
05.
not 00 like it is for every other freaking program on.
Because we used to hang out, right? And we
Yeah.
always used to like
Yeah. We could
dissipate
do-
about 4 o'clock. Get ready for 6:05.
Or how about the rare times where once in a while we got to watch it together? We're wrestling in the backyard going, it's only 5:57.
That's right. We
Now,
got
if the
time.
show had started at 6 o'clock, that last back body drop we were giving each other might not have got squeezed in.
That's right.
So
That's
6:05, baby. Till
6:05.
8:05. Don't forget 8:05.
I mean, we're going to continue on about MLW, but you got me
Yeah.
on this like old school thought.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
What was the one biggest memory you remember of Georgia Championship Wrestling? Just
Georgia
one memory.
Championship
You got to pull
Wrestling.
one out of your head.
You know it's going to sound
Right,
strange
because that was Georgia
you would-
Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, you
right?
you would think that it would be a studio moment,
Right.
but it was them showing the footage from the Omni where Piper slammed the quarters into the face of Morocco.
Oh, I remember that. Oh,
that
man.
oh boy, you want to talk about nerding all over the living
Can I
room.
tell you the one memory I remember?
Oh man, was that good?
I remember Tony Atlas beating Ric Flair by countout.
Oh, wow.
And all the kids, same thing, off,
Okay.
From the Omni.
Right.
God, we used to look at the Omni like that was the
Well,
Madison Square Garden
them
of the
it was.
South, right? To
Well,
us too.
To Georgia, it sure was.
But I remember Atlas beating Flair by countout, and all the kids hitting the ring and like doing like a Rocky moment.
Going nuts.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah, when I think of Daniel Bryan, of course, is famously remembered for 2014 when the fans all went in the ring and stuff. But hey, let's face it, Bob Backlund did this decades ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, remember Backlund with all the kids celebrating in the ring with him? That was...
How about this?
You know.
In Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer seems like such a
so great.
badass.
He was great.
When the WWE was taking over, remember he comes up as Bulldog Buzz Sawyer, and it was like, right? It was like,
Isn't that amazing? Perception's reality, and how you're presented is reality.
But like we
knew the real Buzz Sawyer.
But
We
I just
didn't
remember him
see
coming.
that
Why didn't we get excited about
because
that?
it wasn't presented the same way.
So if they presented him as Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, would you have been like, "Oh my God, it's Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer"?
Can you remember?
He had the same look. He acted the same.
Can you remember one outrageous thing he did?
I just remember
Because
he came in with the bandana on, and he was like,
There was no pizzazz to his writing. They didn't give him the same.
I always believe certain guys could not translate to the Northeast.
Well,
that
could be very true also. That could be very true. I just feel like Buzz Sawyer, when he was presented, and he felt like a main eventer at one point, let's face it, he did.
Absolutely, yeah.
When he was presented in his feuds with a guy like Tommy Rich, like if you bring him into the WWF, you got to put him against the Tommy Rich equivalent and have him do what he always does. Otherwise, it's in vain. It ain't going to get over. So that's why we barely remember the WWF version. And I'm not saying it's the WWF's fault. Who else did they have to push instead of him? Probably some guys that you would have pushed anyway instead of him.
Well,
so
I think about here's a name that people don't ever really talk about. I was a big Spoiler fan, right? Because in Florida Championship Wrestling, the Spoiler was awesome. When he came up to the WWF, he was winning for a while, and all of a sudden just went.
Yeah, he just dissipated. He just kind of evaporated.
Or how about Mr. Wrestling #2, another guy that was just like, goodbye.
You know, more and more I hear what a giant nozzle he was.
Really?
Mr. Wrestling 2. Have you heard that kind of stuff?
I have not.
Not the most pleasant guy. A little bit of Mil Mascaris going on there, but worse, apparently.
Good stuff. Owner Kurt Bauer of MLW is talking to streaming partners about marquee events. In a new partnership with Reel's MLW CEO, Kurt Bauer is looking to expand beyond weekly television once again. We've started to build out, and we're talking to our streaming partners about marquee events such as pay-per-views. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's trying to think bigger. What's going to really dictate it if the fans show up as he takes these steps, right? That's all you could do.
My thing is,
But how much money does he really have? I mean, you got to have some.
my whole thing is like,
You know,
this is where the
some clout.
WWE's smart. And again, I didn't want to have WWE talk, but it's like,
It's hard not to. I mean,
it's like, and I know they can afford it,
What about
and
the
other people can.
Yankees?
Who's spending 30, 20, 40 bucks to watch a
I don't know.
pay-per-view? Not me.
Not me. Yeah, those days are
They're
long,
long gone.
They're long gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know. I guess diehard wrestling fans will. I don't know how many.
Right.
Not that many, maybe. Not like in the old days. In the old days, hundreds of thousands of people bought the pay-per-views.
Right.
But you had Stone Cold and The Rock. I mean, I'm not, honestly, maybe Mick Foley can pay for we could watch it,
Yeah, probably.
because he still owes us McDonald's.
So you watched AEW from El Paso, a blood-soaked MJF following his victory over Takashita.
Right.
Cut a promo that left viewers in both AEW and around the world in disbelief. And he basically, I'm not going to read it out there, but basically talks about how he gets in his blue Camaro with this hot chick named Liv.
Back in school.
Which everybody's instantly going, Liv Morgan! It must be Liv Morgan! Right? Because there's that picture of him and Liv from months ago together.
It's just a tongue-in-cheek joke, guys, but go ahead.
All right, and then basically how he was driving and she was blowing. and
he
at 90
he
miles,
made the physical implications.
yeah, right, exactly. And how as he's getting oral sex, he basically crashes at 90 miles an hour. They both get knocked out. This girl Liv's head goes into the windshield. He wakes up and he decides
He sees the
he's-
sirens.
Right,
Like
he hears the
sirens.
sirens. and
Sirens
he
coming.
moves her into the driver's seat, and he gets in the passenger seat so he doesn't get in trouble.
Right.
Thoughts on that promo?
Boy, oh boy. Well, at least when he talks, you feel like you're reading a book, because I do like the way he speaks. As far as the story goes, can I be a little bit Mr. Spock about it?
Good.
I don't understand how if you hear the sirens, you can hear them.
Right.
You got enough time to drag the chick out of her seat, put her into yours, and then you're gonna
What are you
run around
doing?
to the other side and. By the way, the wound won't look the same because the windshield.
You're being
crack.
like a private investigator here.
Right off the bat, I'm going, this looks
So
fishy.
you just don't like the story.
I don't think that it makes much sense, Captain.
Do you? Well, obviously, yeah. But it's.
Sorry.
I do one thing.
Logical to me.
It's funny the inflection in MJF's voice. He always goes from this very monotone conversation to
Right.
losing control,
Losing his
yelling,
mind.
coming
Right.
back down. So I think he's really got that.
Yeah.
My problem, and it's getting worse by month, is
Okay.
that this guy will never work for the WWE.
Because of his profanity, right?
Yeah, and in fairness, you've defended it and said, hey, when he gets there, he'll make his changes.
I'm sure he could.
I
believe he
feel
could.
like he can.
Really? Well, they would have to know how to ride the line.
Listen.
If he comes there
reason
and
I
know
say
how to
this,
work
all
that
his
line
famous,
without-
all his most famous things
Or vulgar.
are vulgar.
Right.
These are the ones again.
Right.
This vignette interview, whatever you want to call it. People are left back because he did a blowjob move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, has the backlash been heavy on that?
No.
I'm just curious.
But if it would have happened in the WWE, could you imagine what the backlash would have been?
I don't think he would do that in the WWE.
I'm just saying if someone would have done it in the WWE. First of all, they'd be
First of all, they'd be
fired.
fired.
Yeah.
Second of all, sponsors would remove their, sponsorships. They'd lose a lot of money. It's just a different ball game in WWE.
This is where Tony Khan's making so many mistakes, in my opinion. It's like you're not going to get past your 900,000 people.
No, he's going for the niche crowd. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay, great. You got a
It
shock
is-
factor.
Right.
I mean, not part of the script, but I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Guns winning the tag team titles last time?
Good for them. You know what I found the funniest thing about it? In real life, this is Billy's kids.
Right.
As they're winning the belts, he's consoling the losers, which aren't.
Well,
This must be so weird for him, no?
I
Maybe?
think
Like in real life.
everybody
I mean,
was
come on.
expecting Billy to turn,
Right.
right, and
Right.
help his sons.
Right.
And I think Tony Khan is so involved with trying to confuse the smart marks, which I hate using that word.
So I guess he's a little too clever on this
He's
one?
being like,
because
to
that's
me-
what it felt like to me. I'm like, why would you ask the father of his two, like, to see them win the titles?
And
he's
again,
just gonna,
I don't think
I don't know, I
I
just thought it
don't
was
think you
weird.
take the titles off your most popular wrestlers.
Yeah, there's always that too. Tony Khan
It's too
is-
quick.
I think so.
You know, people are like, oh, it's great now. It's this. No.
Nah, not really.
It's a mistake.
Nah, yeah. I
They're your
think
most, it's like you just don't do it.
Yeah, you build it up to a fever pitch where you want the Guns to get those belts. By the way, was it built up to a fever pitch?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever happened to that anyway?
It's happening in the WWE.
Well, we know that, but in general,
Listen,
whatever,
the WWE is so broken away now because
Yeah.
they, got to give Shawn Michaels, Triple H a lot of credit.
You better. You
I
better.
finally will. They have now, and I got to tell you, every Raw episode has some sort of Easter egg behind it. If you're not really paying attention, you're not going to get it. We discussed it last week about with what's his name, right? With Paul Heyman, right? If you notice in one of the vignettes they were having in the backstage interviews behind, you see the Hurt Business
Right.
shaking hands together.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
right.
get all these little
Yeah.
things if you don't really pay
Yep,
attention.
They're being thorough about it.
So here's one of the biggest things of the week, and probably the biggest thing: JC Janes and Gigi Dolan decide the future of Toxic Attraction.
On Ding Dong, hello.
Now, do you
Look at that. Hey, Spidey, do me a favor, humor me. Put that back up. I love the logo. Ding Dong, hello.
Now, do you think that's the right
Thank you,
place
Spidey.
for what happened between these two in Ding Dong Hello? Do you think it should have been in a more serious setting?
Absolutely not. That was perfect. Why? Like the barber shop was a serious setting?
So
I think this is great.
So this
That's
to me
That's great.
is the female.
Yes.
Now, again, we don't give enough credit to the barbershop. No, I think now wrestling fans
Are
do.
you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm not. You're
wait,
right.
Wait, I think you're onto something, Batman.
Go ahead.
Because people, by the way, what is with people destroying Beefcake on the internet?
Oh, they just hate the
Leave
guy.
the fucking guy alone, first of all. What the fuck did he do? Did he do something? I'm trying to figure that one out. But I don't think the barbershop gets nearly enough credit.
No.
Nor does Brutus.
But-
Brutus was over like Rover.
But that
in the day.
the Rockers breaking up at the time, to me, wasn't the biggest deal in the world.
Dude,
but
I
now
thought
that you
that
look,
was-
it's a huge,
Even at
huge
that, dude,
deal.
at that time, I was emotionally
So-
distraught there.
So,
I'm like,
Spidey,
what
can
just
you
happened
play
here?
the?
What
Do
a
you have the
mark.
video of the Rockers, Marty Jannetty getting thrown through the glass?
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
Look
so
at
let's
this.
throw that up there. Let's see impact. All right, it's pretty solid impact,
Man,
right?
Yeah, that looks
Now
great.
let's go to JC Jane kicking Gigi Dolan in the face or through the door. Let's see the head to
this
the
is
door. Hold on a
brutal.
second.
Watch this, guys.
Boom!
Ow, but here it comes. Here it comes.
Well, we got to break up the clip so we don't get
Oh, is that what's...
copyrighted.
Oh, I
yeah,
got
okay.
you.
Oh!
Oh, for God's sakes.
Which was worse? The Jannetty
Oh,
through
it's
the glass
far-
one last
okay.
time, Spidey? Which is worse?
Well, I'll tell you. Let's hope as we watch this one, because this is obviously legendary.
Oh.
I would hope that that's like a Hollywood prop glass of some kind. Did we ever talk to Marty? We should.
Yeah, we
Hey,
should.
Marty, how real was that glass that you slammed through? Because if it's real glass, oh my God. I don't know, man. That kick looked pretty damn brutal, bro. That kick is bad. That's a concussion kick.
That is a concussion.
Yeah, that's bad. How do you fake? They didn't fake that. What the frig? Who agreed to that? Okay,
I will
He's
say
gonna
though,
kick you in the
that
head really
that
hard.
moment now has officially put Toxic Attraction really on the map. Now the question is, where do you go from here? Because
I don't know.
is Gigi Dolan the Marty Jannetty of that team? And I hate saying that all the time. Marty's such a good friend, but again, unfortunately, you have the Sean and the Marty Jannetty, right?
Thanks to Sean,
Right.
You do, but
But
go ahead.
to me,
and get that in.
Gigi Dolan
Yeah.
looks like the redhead, right? Gigi
Yeah,
Dolan.
man. It's just
You're not a big fan of hers, you said, right? You're
no.
not.
She's like the chick from Sex and the City.
Yeah.
It's like you got these two smoking ones, and then there's the other one. And no, it's not because she's a redhead. I've seen plenty of smoking redheads. It's just something about it.
Now, I will tell you this. They should have a feud, and then you bring Mandy back.
Oh, okay.
And Mandy gets them back together.
Mandy's making more money showing her bikini and stuff. She doesn't need to.
Now, I'm looking at Gigi Dolan, dude. She's pretty
hot.
smoking hot,
She
dude.
is hot. You know what, though? How often does she always come out that way?
I understand what you're saying because when
that
I
looks
first,
like a really
again,
good picture of her.
I think when you put,
See, that right there is fine. Absolutely.
I think when you put anybody up against Mandy
That's
Rose,
the problem.
it's a problem.
I think you're right. You know, it's just like everybody winds up looking like a foot after you put them next to Mandy
That's
Rose.
like that's it.
That's right. It's the truth, though. Mandy Rose is like penthouse Barbie. Oh my God, hello. You know, and boy, you were hanging out with her, and there I was. The two nice old lady security guards were showing me the bathroom.
Man, that was probably one
Mandy
of the
was
worst.
like, "Who's this obnoxious prick who's not coming over?" That sucked.
Probably one of the
me.
worst times of your life.
Yeah, that was rough. I'm like, must get to Mandy.
Mandy.
And these two old ladies being so nice
Get
to me.
away from
And the steak is over there, and the bathroom is over there. We have toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? It was like hilarious.
You're
I'm
like
meanwhile, I
scratching
want
at
to
the
get
glass.
to Mandy. I know. And then finally I shake a hand, and all I feel is coldness. Like, what took you so long to get here? That was brutal.
All right, well, this has been This Week of Wrestling. Hope you enjoy SmackDown, enjoy Rampage, and we'll see you next Friday. Pharaoh?
You've been watching This Week in Wrestling, and until next week in wrestling, later.